Bryon Powell of iRunFar here with Jez Bragg of the North Face in Chamonix, France. Day before 2010 Ultra-Trail du Mont Blanc. How are you today, Jez?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Yeah, the sun's shining, great views of Mont Blanc, and it's great to be here in town, and good vibe going on. Yeah, so it's cool.
You've seen the vibe before. This is your fourth trip to Mont Blanc. How have the previous three adventures gone?
It's just mad. As soon as you get into town, the whole sort of atmosphere of the event, and you know, the organisation, the setup, and I think the sheer numbers as well. It's on a scale which, you know, I've not really sort of witnessed with other races, you know, around the world. It's just sort of on this sort of elite level, top level. It's just an awesome setup, awesome race.
Yeah. So have you learned anything in your three previous trips here that you can use?
I've learned a lot. I've done the race 3 times before, but never to a standard which I'm particularly proud of. So this year I've had an injury which is it's had me out for a couple of months early on, but it's given me sort of like a clear run at it, which, you know, I'm quite excited about. You know, I've been able to train specifically for it, get into the mountains. I've been around the course a couple of times, and I haven't been distracted by doing, you know, a load of other ultras earlier in the year. I think one of the things about the race is you have to train specifically for it, and you know, it's quite late in the year, sort of late summer, you know, at the end of the racing season. And previously I've just, you know, I've raced and beat myself up a bit, and you get to Chamonix and you just, you know, you're just a bit knackered, to be honest, and not really, you know, in the sort of shape you need to be to take on, you know, what is like a really, really tough course.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You were third at Western States in 2009, so the American audience knows you a little bit, but give us a little bit of your running background.
Yeah, so well, I've been ultra running for about 5 years now. First few years just sort of on the UK scene, and you know, with a decent amount of success. I was sort of winning the UK races. I then sort of did quite a few 100Ks for England and Great Britain. I was 18th in the Worlds in 2007. I've won sort of the UK Championships, and then last year I won the Commonwealth 100K Championships. So that was, you know, obviously, you know, a high of my career. Last year was as a whole went really well. I obviously had States in June. I put in a couple of decent race performances before that. So yeah, I was really, you know, on a high last year. I also set a record for the West Ham Way, which is one of the UK sort of long distance trails.
How many
quite famous ones in the UK. It's 95 miles, I don't know what the kilometres, so about 150 odd, in winter conditions, so that was a good one. I had a great sort of run off the back of that, January and February 2010, earlier this year, but then I picked up my stress fracture, just completely hit the rocks, had to stop my running, and it was just a case of cross-training like mad to maintain the fitness. But it's just, I think for the first time in 5 years I've had an injury, so, and it's probably the first time I've properly stopped for a decent period of time, and I've not just been, you know, running. So I came off the back of that. I was a bit stale to start with, but within 3 or 4 weeks I was running PBs and on my training runs, and so it was really exciting, and you know, that's been great as part of the build up to this race.
And you've been hitting the mountains a lot more this year, and trails. What sort of specific workouts would you do for that? Anything in particular that you could recommend?
I mean, for this race, there are basically 9 or 10, you know, big climbs of sort of 800 to 1,000 meters vertical. So, you know, it's just a case of getting yourself on trails which replicate that. And I've been around the course twice, once at the end of June, once at the end of July, over 2 straight 3 days. So that was obviously great training. In the UK, it's harder, but I've been in, there's an area in North Wales called Snowdonia, and they've got climbs which are similar in height and sort of trail condition to what you get here. So I've just been doing reps up and down Snowdon and the other big sort of 3,000 foot peaks in Snowdonia. So just going up and down all day. because at the end of the day I can run, but it's just getting the climbs into your legs, and you know, that's what I've been really focusing on. So.
Well, best of luck with all those climbs tomorrow, and we wish you well. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us.
That's all right. That's cool. Cheers.
Cheers. We have one more question for Jez Bragg while we have him. Jez, can you tell us a little bit about being a foreigner running in France, Switzerland, and Italy at UTMB?
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges for you know, the runners who aren't based in the Alps, you know, who aren't from France, Switzerland, or Italy. You're obviously coming to race in countries where you don't know the language, and there's obviously the culture and the differences in like food, and one of the classics is at the aid stations. You know, they've got a spread of like cheese and salami and you know, crackers and stuff like that, and you know, it'd be great with a glass of red wine, but you know, when you're sort of 50 miles into an epic race,
you're not looking to rip off a piece of baguette.
It's not going to do my stomach too much good. You know, you don't get goo gels and stuff like that. So you know, that's a big challenge, and I think also it can just get a bit lonely when you're out there on the trail, and you know, you can't really converse with people who are there supporting because you can't really speak the language. My foreign language is
that's I hadn't really thought of that at all in terms of, you're not necessarily talking with competitors, but if I come to an aid station in the United States, I sort of can joke if I'm feeling a little like,
and it picks you up. A bit of banter, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know, keep spirits good, and you don't quite get that. I mean, you'll probably get the odd, you know, English speaker and stuff, but they probably don't quite get the sense of humour as well. And for me, like, I like to have a bit of banter with, you know, the guys at the aid stations, and it just, you got to smile because it just kind of carries you through, and there's a barrier there from just the culture and the language, so it kind of adds a different sort of aspect to it, another challenge if the course wasn't tough enough for you.
You've got a good crew with you this year, and I'll be out there cheering for you.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to banter a little bit as you come through.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be on good form. If I'm not, then you get worried. No.
Yeah. Take care, Jez.
Cheers, all right, thanks.